So, unfortunately, bad stigmas and stereotypes about seizures are still alive and well. And an example of this was the 2018 movie Netflix After the Party. After the Party is pretty much a boy who gets embarrassed, who his embarrassment goes viral, and luckily his best friend helps him redeem himself after the embarrassment and a passion for music as well. And literally, the scene in question is 30 minutes into the movie. They weren't even considered enough to put at least 5 minutes into the movie. So the scene in question is when Owen, who's played by Kyle, who is a West Coast rapper, goes on stage to rap for the first time. And along with this scene, you got Charlamagne the God, who is the host that introduces Owen. And then Wiz Khalifa is there as well, because if I remember, some big, underground rap battle event that can get, for a record label potentially, if I remember that scene right. So Wiz is there, Charlamagne the God, Kyle, West Coast rapper, they're playing the scene, whatever. And then at some point, Owen, he pukes like an exorcist on Wiz Khalifa. And then after that, that's when he falls on the ground and has a seizure. And what the fuck? Like, literally the only justifiable thing is when someone lifted his head up. Other than that, it's, what did I just watch? Once he has this seizure on stage, he goes viral and is later known as Seizure Boy, which I think they were trying to make it like Soldier Boy, which I get that, but it's still distasteful, especially how they spell it. I guess when you gotta get creative, you find weird ways to spell words. So I will give the creativity that, but other than that, it was so distasteful in how it was represented in the film. So while I guess no one really cared about it, because it was 93% on Rotten Tomatoes, so I don't know why it didn't get as much controversy as it did then, or as cancel culture likes to call it, being canceled. Well, the movie wasn't part of cancel culture. There were people who spoke out against the movie. And one of those was the former CEO of Epilepsy Foundation, Philip Gatton, which he makes a statement saying, making fun of someone having epilepsy is bullying at its worst. When such responses are portrayed as acceptable behavior, even in movies, it's demeaning and hurtful to our epilepsy community and all of us, which I agree, because it pushes back on education and it continues with the stigmas. And if social media has taught us anything in these past couple of years, starting 2015, 2016, that social media doesn't need to put much out there for people to believe it. Even if what they say is discredited, people still want to believe what they've seen without the actual research behind it. And he continues to say, if someone is ridiculed for the medical problem like seizures, they're more likely to hide their illness and likely to not get medical help or hide everything they're suffering to friends and family and keep everything to themselves. Another person who spoke against the film was Wayne Darsh, who is a CNN Enterprise writer and also a father of a 14-year-old epileptic son. He discusses the film as, this film treats seizures like the dab, like the electric slide. Which I do agree with him, because do we really think that this is what we do during a seizure? And that's the problem with convulsion seizures, and why after a while it becomes repetitive and inaccurate, because there's these assumptions and people roll with the assumptions without actually doing the research or considering how it would look for the epilepsy community. When I tell you this man went off on the movie, he went completely off on the movie in a separate article he wrote. Not only frustrations with the movie because of the seizure, but as well as being a father of epileptic and what his son has experienced not only in schools but outside of school. Both parties did reach out to Netflix, and to this day Netflix has not responded. And mind you, this movie came out 6 years ago. While the three I mentioned are in the movie, there are also actors and artists like Tiana the Taylor, Blair Underwood, DJ Khaled, and Pusha T, for other examples as well.